Chapter 19. Patty Nugent. A leader organizes people whether they know it or not. It was a slow afternoon at the salon, and Patty was doing inventory, which was never her favorite thing. But it had to be done. Bottles of nail polish vanished almost every day. She was certain that it was the result of theft from both her workers and her clients, so it was essential to stay on top of the situation. As a small business owner, you had to show that you cared about these things, even if the nail polish bought in bulk only ended up costing her 69 cents a pop. That was one of the secrets to success, caring about big things and the small things. Or in Patty's case, you cared about everything. She wished all of her customers just wanted red nails. Red was lucky. But Patty carried over 100 shades in their squat little glass containers. She put down a bottle of fire engine red and picked up peacock blue, a new shade that was very popular but carried no good fortune. With the annoying blue in her right hand, she looked through the front window and suddenly saw a dusty sedan pull into the parking lot. A police car was right behind it. Not good. Maybe if she had kept the red bottle in her hand, this wouldn't have happened. She knew that wasn't logical, but still. And then she watched, her heart rate increasing, as her two kids got out of the dirty Ford and rushed toward the salon. Really not good. Patty dropped the little glass bottle straight into the trash. She was going to discontinue carrying the unlucky peacock blue nail polish. In that very first week of school, Kwang Ha had cut classes and gone to arguments with teachers. He was in danger of being expelled. Patty had asked the principal for counseling. She firmly believed that her son needed a voice of authority to scare him back into the right path. But not real authority. Certainly not the police. And then, before she could make a guess at what he'd done, her kids were inside the salon and they were both talking at once. Kwang Ha wanted his mother to know that Mai had lied. This was suddenly an important moment for him because the playing field was being leveled. Now he wasn't the only one who twisted words to the people in charge, but Mai, speaking rapid fire in Vietnamese, raised her voice above his. This wasn't about lying. This was about a car accident and a girl who had lost her parents. Mai only cared about that. Kwang Ha argued that they didn't even know the little kid. Getting involved on any level was trouble. Patty tried to sort it out, but it wasn't long until both of the police officers were standing in front of her getting ready to launch an avalanche of questions in her direction. Before they could, Mai took her mother's hand and pulled her toward the door. Patty followed, moving right past the two cops. Mai led her straight to Dell's car, where she wordlessly opened the backseat door so that her mother could be face to face with Willow. Patty saw grief. Her eyes focused on a version of her own young self and so many other children in Vietnam who grew up without parents, so abandoned because of their ethnicity, others because of tragedy, and her arms reached out wide. After Patty signed the bottom of the paperwork they gave her legal responsibility for Willow for the next 24 hours, the police cruiser charged out of the parking lot like a getaway car. That left Del Duke. He wanted to be invited home with them. He was now really a part of this. But Patty ignored him as she went about closing the nail salon early, barking orders in Vietnamese to the two manicurists. Del hung around the cash register trying to be relevant. It wasn't working. Even though Patty stood barely over 5 feet tall to his 5 foot 8 inches, she kept edging him toward the door. "We'll talk tomorrow." She said this more than once, and then suddenly she had a hold of his right elbow and she literally led him outside. Del managed to say, "I should probably get your home number. I have it in Kwang Ha's files at the office, but Patty either wasn't listening or wasn't interested. She pulled out a large ring of keys, and with Del now on the sidewalk, she went back into the salon and began locking the heavy door at the bottom. Del was on the wrong side of the thick plate glass, but he continued, as if he were still in the room, raising his voice as he said, "Okay then, I should be going, which I'll do, right now." Long day for all of us. He strained to get a better look at Willow, but she was crouched down with Maya at her side. He hadn't even said goodbye. Patty then snapped off the bright fluorescent ballast. The windows were tinted, making it hard to see much of anything inside. Dell walked to his car. When he glanced over his shoulder, the salon was just shadows. They had to be leaving out a back door to go home. But he thought about following the car as they drove away, but suddenly the weight of what had happened, the enormity of the situation, hit him hard. Dell got into his Ford, slid the key into ignition, and then burst into tears. His neck muscles seemed to give way, and as he sobbed, his head fell forward and hit the steering wheel. And that's when the horn sounded, startling him and the world around him into a new consciousness.